Se fue el internet. Are you ready? Miss Tatiana and Marcos?
Hello.
Mile, yo estoy aquí.
Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us in this webinar titled Teaching English Through Technology. My name is Maria Rodriguez, and I will be your host for today. Technology is transforming the way that we teach and learn. English in education is not an exception. It is in this section we will explore how digital tools, especially metaverse, can create immersive, motivated, and realistic environment for learning English. We will look at practical examples, benefits for students, and how teachers can start to use technology for their class. To begin, I would like to say we are honored to be or have here three outstanding presenters. They are first, we have the teacher Tatiana Cedeño, who has an extensive experience in English teaching using technology and resources. And also, we have the teacher Marcos Mala, who used many resources for teaching class. And it's a pleasure to to introduce myself, and I'm going to share some ideas with you about the use of technology in learning English. This presentation explores the use of metaverse In English language, teachers as innovate educational environments allows your students to practice English in real context, real situations, engage in listening comprehension, speaking, and communication confidence. The purpose of this webinar is that teachers know how to use some digital resources for learning or teaching English. What is metaverse and what does it matter in education? As you can see in this part, we have metaverse is an immersive environment space where students interact in real time, transcending traditional classroom boundaries. This digital realm offers open opportunities to dynamic and engaging learning experience. As I said before, the metaverse refers to environments, virtual environments where users can interact through avatars in real time. In the field of education, these digital spaces are opening new possibilities for teaching and learning, especially in language education. In English, language teaching in Metaverse offers learners many an opportunity to practice language realistic and meaningful context. Students can communicate, collaborate, and solve problems in virtual scenarios and simulate real situations, such as virtual classroom, sites, and cultural space. Advantage of the metaverse and learning English. As we know, all about technology has in our lives many advantages. In learning teaching context, we have three important advantages. Advantage. Realistic scenario or realistic scenarios when students practice English in authentic context, such as jobs, interviews, simulators, homes, or virtual shows, preparing students for real more interaction. Another advantage is total immersion. And then we have the use of curriculum. This allows that students practice English in an innovative and funny way. In English, also, learners have the opportunity to create some activities or scenarios that involve real life situations and classroom series, but also we have the opportunity to let students practice critical thinking, and also they are the ability or the attitude to solve problems in real life. Students feel more confident because they can practice safe and creative space without fear of making mistakes. They listen, speaking, and interact continuously with improved learning comprehension and health development skills. This immersive experience can also support faster language acquisitions. The metaverse also promotes student centers. As a teacher, in our experience, it's important that students are the center of in the class. Not only in a class where a teacher is all the time talking and talking. In this section, it's really important that the students create their knowledge based on their abilities or to create and solve problems using real communication and authentic context. That means that we can use some strategies that innovate and students can practice. Moreover, that books platforms offer students also in real situations. However, it's important to consider that we have some challenges, such as the access to technology, teaching training, and the responsibility of your virtual environment. To conclude, in this part of advantage and disadvantage, I can say that it's really important to use the technology and innovate strategies to motivate students and give the opportunity to create their knowledge. The next one, we have the presentation of the teacher, Marcos Mala.
Good evening, everyone. Milena and Tatiana. I'm Marcos Mala, as Milena mentioned me before. So, as we know, the metaverse is a collective virtual shared that merges the physical or digital worlds, allowing users to interact in the same time. So, particularly, the metaverse provides some resources. In this case, As we can see, we have a practical example, the interview in the metaverse. So in this case, the student listens and responds to questions in English within a simulated professional environment. Well, as teachers, we know that we have to prepare our students to develop in the future. So, particularly the Metaverse provides some tools and that we could use in order to prepare our students. And in this environment, in this digital environment, our students can focus on vocabulary, grammar, and listening comprehension in a real world context crucial for professional communication. So the intention of the use the metaverse is that provide our students with some resource in this case that they could develop vocabulary, grammar, structure, grammars, and a main listening comprehension. Particularly, if we could develop these skills using the metaverse, we could improve the ability to identify key details and the new information during a conversation in the big that are vital for the effective communication. Okay, Milena.
Let's start with Tatiana Cedeño, please. Oh, can continue,
Okay,
Marcos.
just a moment. Yes, of course. Okay. In this case, in motivation, as we know, we the motivation is the force that stimulates an individual to carry out a determined activity. Particularly, we have two types of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation refers to the internal force that stimulates our students or individuals to develop some activities, but by themselves, in self or herself. While extrinsic motivation refers to an external factor that stimulates our student participation. I mean, we have to provide a reward or recognition in order to carry out a specific activity. Particularly, the metaverse provides an external factor that it could be interactive for our students that stimulate the intrinsic motivation. So, in this case, with the increase of student motivation, the learning in the metaverse boosts engagement through an innovative and enjoyable experience making education fun. When the education is fun, our students they are part of the learning. They perform in an interactive way. They want to participate. So I it's me. Exists an intrinsic motivation. Okay, in this part, we could accelerate the acquisition. Some studies show that virtual immersion speeds up vocabulary acquisition and fluency, leading to faster progress. Okay, when we introduce our students in the metaverse, we could ask that our students develop their skills. For example, in my experience as a beginner teacher, I know a younger student who someone told me, teacher, I found the answer. Oh, and I asked him, you found it? The answer? Yes. And do you know how to use the verb find in simple past? Yes, teacher. I know some verbs in simple past. And I asked him, did you learn these phrases in classes? No, teacher. I learned these verbs or phrases in Free Fire. And why? And because I have some friends from different countries, so I could speak with them. Ah, that is an interesting way to learn English, right? Because the student could interact with other kids, and in order to learn new words, in particular in this case, in in this virtual area. In Free Fire, a student could learn vocabulary such as go, play, eh, 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 and some words that are common in these games. But the student could use this vocabulary in a real context. This vocabulary that they learn in the virtual space, right? So, and also this virtual space provide a safe practice environment where our students could practice and they feel confidence because they could use avatars that are common in these virtual spaces. Okay, the next one, please. Okay, and how to start using the metaverse for English teaching? We know that in this case in Ecuador we have public and private educational institutions. So in public educational institution we don't have computers, laptops, or internet connection. It means we have limited resources. But in private education institution is many times we have internet, laptops, or digital resources that we could apply in order to access to platforms such as in this case the most common are Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok that they are free for our students and for us as educators. And these platforms seamless integration. They are easy to incorporate metaverse activities into both in-person and virtual classes to enrich the learning. We could apply this metaverse both in e-learning or in this case in face-to-face learning. Okay, that's all for tonight. Thank you.
Continue with our teacher, Tatiana Cedeño. Welcome.
Welcome. Good night. Today, talk about the Metaverse platform for education. Okay, Ukraine ever imagined learning English while exploring Mars or managing a hotel in 3D? Today, we're diving into the educational metaverse. The games changed that tours to grammar drills into thrilling adventures. Let's unlock how virtual world both language skills. With the platform for education using metaverse, use the Roblox education about the in this picture a student team up in English to design a Mars coloring. They draft mission log line we need to secure water supplies by Fridays and debate resource allocation, blending sacred creativity and real-time language practice. No more memorizing vocab in isolation. Metaverse learning. Next, Metaverse Learning create Verse. He learned role play as hotel manager in English. They handle customer complaints. I apologize for the delay. Let me upgrade your rooms and coordinate staff schedules. It is free practice for workplace communication, building confidence for real world jobs. Now, rooms. Step into a virtual Shakespearean library with ER, discuss Romeo and Juliet, why did Romeo act so impulsively, and act or sense with peers, boosting literary comprehension and spoken fluency. Then Meta for Education with Quest headset joined a Mr. Business meeting, negotiated deal, present proposal, and polish formal English in a lively setting. makes English learning experiential and as effective is mere subject like assigned career, skills, and literature with language keeping learning engaged, whether academic or professional. It turns passive student into active participation. So, what do you prefer using Metaverse for academia subject or professional training? Drop your throw and the let's debate plus say tour for a quiet demo if you're bored, yes. Continue, please. In conclusion, the future of English in the metaverse. The metaverse makes English learning experimental and effective. So, for do you prefer using in for academic subject or professional training? Drop your throw and let's debate. Ready for the lab? Are you prepared to take the lab and revolution your English class? Thank you.
To sum up, in English language teaching, Metaverse offers students the opportunity to practice language in realistic and meaningful contexts. To conclude, thank you everyone for being part of this webinar. Today we will explore how technology and metaverse can aid English teaching through immersion, motivation, and real-life practice. These tools offer new opportunities for educators and students and improve learning outcomes. And remember, if you have to, can you improve your English skills? Practice with using Metaverse. We hope this session was inspired to explore integrate technology into English class. Thank you again for your time and have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.